This week, we're going to be looking at some more numbers coming out of this poll I just discussed with you. If you just joined us, these poll numbers are not about who's up or down. It's not about politics or a horse race. It's about how Americans, especially those under 35 or 39, feel. And I think most Americans would be shocked, especially in this audience. I was. Almost half of Americans, 48%, approve of Donald Trump. And yet at the very same time, that same majority also says they want a socialist to win in 2028. It's not a contradiction. They did not vote for a conservative. They voted for a sledgehammer. It is a cry of confusion if you don't listen to what is actually being said. It is proof that labels no longer fit. People don't trust anyone in charge anymore. And we are headed for real trouble if we don't understand this. This is one of the reasons I'm starting The Torch in January. And we are working so hard, day and night, it seems, trying to get things ready and figure this kind of thing out so we can arm you. Because look, if you're under 35, I hear you. I really do. You've played by the rules. You've studied. You worked hard. You had more pressure in school. If you're like most kids, going to school, the pressure to succeed, get A's. Now you're saddled with debt. You, again, played by the rules. And you look at the system that promised you security and opportunity, and you feel like, well, that was all nothing but a lie. You're not crazy. You're not alone. The housing costs are crushing. Wages are stagnant. And yes, the economy does tilt to the very powerful. It is something that constitutionalists have been fighting against in our own party, even. And if you're over 45, you've lived long enough to know when governments promise to fix everything by confiscating and redistributing or tearing down institutions, it ends in misery. Look at South America. Look at Venezuela. You know, you've seen inflation. You've seen socialism abroad. You've seen communism. You've seen how quickly equity becomes tyranny. And you know that freedom is fragile. And so you're sitting on one side going, I know history. And the other side is like, yeah, but look at the present. And here's the truth. Both sides are right. They're both right. But both sides have a responsibility. And I'm not sure that those my age understand the responsibility and those under 39 understand the responsibility. For those of us over 45, you can't just lecture. You can't just lecture. They're not listening. They're not hearing it. And they're tired of it. We owe the next generation more than nostalgia and lectures. We owe them mentorship. We owe them proof that ownership and opportunity is still possible in America. And that means that those of us who have the opportunity, we need to build businesses that hire. We need to teach skills that matter. We need to open doors instead of closing them. And it means being humble enough to admit where the system failed and bold enough to fix it without burning it down. This is the key. This is the key. This is what was it called? The Great Revolution of the 1600s in England was all about. That's what that revolution taught America 100 years later was you can have a revolution without burning the entire institution down to the ground. I don't know if we believe in that anymore. I don't think anybody's trying. They want to burn the system down to the ground. We owe it to our children to tell them the truth about college. It will put you in debt. It will indoctrinate you. And most likely in the 4 years that it's going to take you to learn whatever it is you're learning to prepare for a job, that job is probably going to be gone or so radically transformed that your education isn't going to matter in 4 years. If you're going to learn how to think, that's one thing. But that's not what colleges and universities teach anymore. And quite honestly, employers see diplomas from Yale and Harvard or elite institutions as proof that they don't want to hire you because you are privileged. You have lived a privileged life. You only understand privileged and I need my safe space now. And they're not hiring you. They're just not hiring you. We have to help our children see the value in independent thought, in independent study, in the value of jobs like plumbers and welders and electricians and trade jobs. That's for everybody over 45. Everybody under that, I want you to know you carry more power than you know. But power without wisdom is extraordinarily dangerous, and no one has passed on wisdom to your generation. Nobody. You're under 30. Who's passed wisdom on to you? How are you even getting that? Power without wisdom is deadly. Power without wisdom means you have power without history. None of the lessons of history. You have slogans. You have dates and names and places that you memorized, and you've probably forgot them, and they're slogans. You have to demand reform, yes, but you also must have the responsibility, and this must be paramount, that you never surrender freedom for comfort, ever. Don't trade away your birthright of self-government for the false promise of a global overseer or quick redistribution, because it doesn't work. And in the end, all that will matter is that you govern yourself. You cannot lose that, because once that's taken away, that's not empowerment. They'll tell you that's empowerment now, but it's not. It's servitude. So this week, I'm going to be talking a lot about this, but just on the poll results that we showed you a minute ago, on housing, we have to unleash zoning reform. We have to cut the red tape. Families need to be able to buy a home. That's freedom in practice. Cut the red tape. Allow people to build homes in places where they want to live. Ownership. Instead of punishing wealth, let's expand small business lending and tax incentives for entrepreneurs under 35. That will build equity without confiscation. Incentivize them to start their own businesses. They get their own business. They have been doing stuff online almost from birth at this point. They understand how a small business could work. I don't know if they've ever put the two and two together yet, but they've already built things. Both sides. We need to learn and teach civics. We need to relearn the Constitution, not as a relic, but as a manual for living. This can't be some dusty article that you're like, what is that again? We the people, what? Doesn't really matter. It does. This is why we are building the torch. All of these things are why we're building the torch, but especially this. We have to reconnect with our inheritance, or we don't make it. We have a responsibility to understand community, to mentor somebody younger. Now, I know this is hard. I have to tell you, I have offered mentorship to so many people. So many people. I will see them and I'll say, anything I can teach you, you just come and see me. I will mentor you, whatever you need. They don't take me up on it. I don't think, except for maybe Stu, maybe Jason, another one. There's a couple of them that have. But really, nobody has really challenged me and said, okay, Glenn, I need an hour. Can you sit down with me for an hour? Yeah, I have a responsibility to do that. If you're serious about learning, yes, I'll do that. But we have to mentor, but the youth also has to understand, don't waste my time. If you're not willing to put in the work, you're not just going to get this through osmosis. It's going to take years and years of work. But mentor, go find a mentor, adopt a classroom, start a local project. Don't wait for Washington to fix what we have to fix on our own streets. America is not broken. It is unfinished. It is forever unfinished. Each generation is called upon to add another layer of paint or another chapter. Those over 45 have to hand wisdom with humility. Those under 35 have to accept that torch, not to burn the house down, but to light the way forward. Because freedom itself is the noble purpose. It's not given by governments. It's not guaranteed by markets. It's not preserved by the courts. It survives only if we, the young and the old, together choose to live it, to teach it, and protect it. If I could be emperor for a day, and it would actually require me for being God for a day, and you really don't want me as a God for a day, it would be really not a good thing. But the one thing I would want is for everybody to put down the bitterness. Put down your bitterness. We all have a reason we can be bitter. Pick up the responsibility. Pick up the lessons that whatever happened to you in your life are trying to teach you. Bridge the divide. It's not going to be saved by anybody except by people like you. If it's saved at all, it will be saved by Americans who are serving something bigger than themselves. That should be our calling. That's my hope. And I think it's still within our reach. But it's going to require all of us to think differently. Choose your thoughts. Hear me. Choose your thoughts and change your life.